Controversial La Crosse Catholic priest James Altman is not backing down from the firestorm over his recent video in which he tells his followers that a person cannot be a Catholic and also be a Democrat. In fact, Altman ramps up the rhetoric. In the original video released in August, the priest at St. James Church in La Crosse focuses on abortion. He says Catholic church leaders are, in his words, hypocrites and gutless cowards for not getting more involved in politics. In the video, Father Altman also warns that those who fail to heed his warning face the fires of hell. In the second video released this week, Altman repeats his condemnation of Planned Parenthood, climate change activists, and the Black Lives Matter movement. He also claims his previous video was not divisive. He repeats his warning about the Democratic Party and mocks those who have criticized his remarks and praises President Trump.
Allow me to respond to what has become somewhat of an intense, often belligerent reaction to a recent and simply stated truth. You cannot be Catholic and be a Democrat. Can we speak to moral issues in the public sphere without being silenced under the guise of being, as I put it in that video, too political? Not only can we, as promised by our Constitution and as explicitly supported by President Trump, we must.
Altman also mocks what he called the left-wing bullies and the cancel culture for bringing themselves into the light of day. So far, no reaction from the La Crosse Catholic Diocese to this latest video, but it clearly disregards the appeal from La Crosse Catholic Bishop William Callahan to be less divisive. He issued that statement after the first video. Here's a look back at what Callahan wrote on September 9th. That statement reads in part, quote, "I understand the undeniable truth that motivates Father Altman's message, but Callahan also writes that the manner and delivery and tone of his message must be evaluated." He also writes that Altman comes across as angry and judgmental and lacking any charity and in a way that causes scandal both in the church and society. Callahan writes, quote, his condemnation of entire groups of people is completely inappropriate and not in keeping with our values or the life of virtue. Callahan also writes, quote, most people expect a decisive move from me. Many suggest immediate penalties that will utterly silence him. Others call for complete and unwavering support of his views. But in a notable portion of that statement from September 9th, Callahan warns Altman that, quote, penalties are not far away if my attempts at fraternal correction do not work. He concludes that, quote, I pray that Father Altman's heart and eyes might be open to the error of his ways and that he might take steps to correct his behavior and heal the wounds he has inflicted on the body of Christ. It does not appear Altman has heeded Callahan's appeal.